while I get everything situated here. Come on. All right. Okay, let's just make sure everything looks good, that everything is kind of centered, and yeah, I just want to make sure everything's good. I'm looking at my laptop over to my left, so make sure everything's good. All right. Well, hello everybody. This is Carla and welcome back to the studio. And thank you for joining me for another episode of Throwback Thursday. Well, it's actually Friday. I'm a little late on getting this one out there, but it's been a crazy busy week. And so here it is. I'm doing this, and then I got to get stuff together for tonight, Friday the 29th, because I will be going live at 7 p.m. Then I still got to get that stuff put together. So yeah, it's gonna be a busy day. So welcome again, everybody. This is my Throwback Thursday. If you're new to my channel, Throwback Thursday is where I pull out my retired stash and I create two projects using whether it's a stamp set, bundle, suite. Uh, this one that I am using for this episode is the Grow with Love bundle. So what I do want to make mention about this, this was an it is an online exclusive item. It is currently on the last chance list. So what does that mean? That means it's going to retire. So in the description, I have listed, instead of listing this as a bundle, I listed the stamp set and the set of dies separately. And here is why. This is still currently available at the moment, at the time that I'm recording this, which I believe it's like around 11 a.m. on Friday the 29th. These are still available. Both items, you would want to purchase them separately rather than as the bundle, because you're going to save like a lot more than as if you bought it as a bundle and saved 10%. And so with that being said, you are going to save money if you order these separately. Right now, what the online store is showing is that the dies, they're still available. The Grow with Love stamp set, though, is currently on low inventory, so it's a matter of time before the stamp set will be gone. So if this is a bundle that you've been kind of eyeing and been thinking about, or maybe you like the projects that I do and it's something that you want to get, I wouldn't wait, because at any time the stamp set could be gone, and it's not, again, it's going to be retired, and once it's gone, it's gone. So I did want to make mention of that. So that's what we're using today. Also, along with this, I'm bringing back the Timeless Plaid Designer Series paper. I did, what was it, one more year for my Throwback Thursday last week, and I used this paper in there, so I'm using it again for this Thursday. It's a really great pack of paper. This paper is still available. It is not in the last chance. And yeah, so at any time, this too can end up and going on the last chance, which typically happens every other month. So we had a refresh, I think, in August. So then in October, there'll be more stuff added to the last chance. And it's hard to say if whether or not this paper will end up on there or not. It's a great pack of paper, lots of plaid patterns on one side, and then on the other you have like your checkered pattern. So great pack of paper, still available. So let me get started here with our first card. Like I said, there's a lot of stuff that I got to get done, especially for tonight. When it's that good when you don't have everything done ahead of time. Um, really, for me, it seems like weekends are the best time for me to get stuff done ahead of time, but it's been crazy and busy and all that. So, again, usually I post my Throwback Thursdays on Thursday morning at 5 a.m. Central Time. So, hopefully, next week we'll be back on track again. So, for my first card, I have a card base that measures 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4.25. This is Lost Lagoon. For the inside of my card, this is Basic Beige, measures 5.25 by 4. And then I have a piece of Garden Green. This is 5.5 by 3 1/8. Basic Beige, 5.5 by 3. I have two pieces of that Timeless Plaid Designer Series paper. These both measure 5.5 by 1.5. So I have two cut with that. And then out of a scrap piece of Lost Lagoon, I have die cut this smaller tag that's in the set of dies. Let me show you the dies really, really quick. So with this set of dies, if I can get it to come out. So you have one sheet on here that has this one big die that creates a little pocket envelope. And the next card that I do, we're going to be using that. And then here are the two tags. So there's a larger one and then there's a smaller one. Then you have your pieces here that you can use to create your little pocket envelope. And then there's some other dies in here too that will die cut the images. So on this one, you've got basil, rosemary, mint, and thyme. You have some greetings here, and you got a little grown with love that there's a little circle die that'll die cut that. Now this did, it coordinated with, ooh, now we're going back. I think, was it in March, February or March? It may have been March. We have Paper Pumpkin kit, and the name kind of escapes me at the moment, but it was, it definitely, these two items, they did coordinate. And then there were also a set of dies that had a die in there that coordinated with that Paper Pumpkin kit as well. So there was a lot of product that was out, that went kind of went with Grow with Love. Now the Paper Pumpkin kits, let me see really quick. Um, Let me take a quick peek to see, because they do have, let me sign in really quick, because they have refill kits, but let me see if this particular Paper Pumpkin has a refill kit available. Let me see here. Let me see what they got. Yes, as a matter of fact, they have the whole kit. It was called Hello Spring, and let me see here. This one, does it say which one this was? Ooh, they don't have it listed. It was either January, February. Well, I don't think it was January. It was either February or March that this kit was available. Usually they'll have refill kits for these, but for this particular one, they actually, March. Um, yeah, they don't have the month listed on here. So currently I'm looking at the website under Paper Pumpkin. So other than Hello Spring, which this coordinates with, uh, the Hearts for You paper pumpkin kit, which that would have been January. So I'm thinking this could have been February, this particular paper pumpkin kit. And the Inked Occasions, that could be March, I think, or April, January, February, March. I apologize, guys. They don't have the months listed on here, and time flies and so much stuff to kind of absorb as far as product goes. But this particular Hello Spring Paper Pumpkin kit that coordinated with Grow with Love, it's available as a full kit. So the full kits have the little ink spot. They have the photopolymer stamp set in them, whereas the refills will have all of your the paper components and maybe additional like ribbon or twine if it was part of the kit. The refills do not include another stamp set, and um, the the stamp sets and the, oh, wow, I can't talk. The stamp set and the ink spot. So the Hello Spring, looking at this, it's an actual full kit that's available. There's no refill to it. Now, in order to purchase these, you do need to be a Paper Pumpkin subscriber. Um, Let me see. Uh, yeah, you would have to be a subscriber in order to get it. And actually, the last kit that we just got for the month of August, that refill kit is out there as well. So the Hello Spring kit, if I didn't mention, the cost here in the US is $24 for it. And like I said, again, you would have to be a subscriber in order to purchase any of the past refills or the past kits, and even like their add-on dies as well. And looking in here, there looks like there's two refills was that are actually on sale because they include some of the new in color stuff. And let me mention this really quick because this is part of it too, and we're going to be using this. So in my next project, I'm going to be using, these are the 2025 to 2027 in color flat pearls. These two are on sale. In the description, the first paragraph underneath the second card dimension, there is a link that will take you to the online store. This is all of the 2025 to 2027 items that are in. Wow, I can't talk today. Items that contain the 2025 to 2027 in colors are on sale for 15% off. Everything that you see in there is listed as 15% off, except there are a couple of items that are in there that are not. Like, for example, there is this it was a virtual album retreat that Stampin' Up did, I think last month, or yeah, I think it was last month. That's still available, even though it includes some of the new in colors. Unfortunately, it's not one of the items that is 15% off. So if you click on it, you'll see those embellishments, the paper, the cardstock, the ribbon, ink pads, ink refills, markers, anything with the new ink colors is on sale. And that sale is actually going to end this Sunday on the 31st. So I just wanted to kind of put that out there really, really quickly. So then that way, if there was something that you wanted to get, you were aware of the end date on that. All right. So let's get back to our card and our project. So I'm going to fold and burnish my card base. I'm going to take the piece that's for the inside. I'm going to add some adhesive to this. put this inside our card. Like so. And then we'll set that aside. Actually, I can put that designer series paper on there really quick. So let me get like glue. And I'm going to add some glue. On the edges here. We're going to, instead of placing a whole sheet on my card front, the middle part is going to be covered up. So to kind of conserve a little bit here on the paper, I did the paper I'd cut just 2 strips since that middle part is going to get covered up. So I'm going to line that up. Now when you do this part, when you're adding the paper to like the front of your card base, I don't use the seal, and the reason why I don't is because that sticks really, really well. And if you don't have it lined up and you have to pull it off, you could either tear the paper or it gets all wrinkled up. So I find if I use the liquid glue, that helps, where it gives you that little bit of wiggle room to get it all lined up and in place. And with this glue, this is our Tombow multi-purpose glue. This glue does have a latex in it, and this glue does dry fairly quickly, depending on how much you use, that is. With this glue, like I said, because it has that latex in it, you don't need a whole lot of glue. That's why I put it in one of those fine tip glue bottles. And those glue bottles, I just got those off of Amazon. I got a whole, like I think a pack of 10 of them. So the link to that is in the description. Okay, so now that I got that down, what I want to do is I want to trim these edges. So I'm going to bring in my little guillotine paper trimmer. This was something that Stampin' Up had offered. Yeah, this isn't going to work. What am I doing? Offered as one of their during one of their promotions for Celebration a few years ago. And there are similar ones to this. I mean, they're like the same shape and style and all that. They've just got a different coloring on them, and they don't say Stampin' Up. So there are some of these available on Amazon. I have seen them. All right, so now that we trimmed those edges, we will take this and we will set this aside. And then let me close up my glue, and then we're going to do some stamping. So let me get a piece of scrap paper here. And we got our panel. Let me put these away. We don't really need these. I did my die cutting ahead of time on my projects. I do that to save some time. So we don't really need these. Put those back. All right. So the colors that I am using on this one, I got Lost Lagoon, Granny Apple Green, Garden Green, Shaded Spruce, and that's it. Oh, and then I also have my Blackberry Bliss. This is the dark Stampin' Blend. All right, let me get that out of the way. And let's get our stamps. So I'm going to use the mint, the basil, and this was what, rosemary and thyme. And then I also want the greeting that says, "You're on my mind." All right, so now let's get some blocks on these. Now I don't have too many of these larger blocks, so I have to take some of these stamps and I have to kind of arrange them on the block so they fit. Should order a few more of these larger blocks. Okay. Now on these, all I really want is the upper part of the image. I don't need the part that has the herb name. So when I go to ink these up, I do need to clean them off a little bit. Now on the tag, I don't have the labels on my stamps. So when I line my red rubber, my cling stamps on here, I'm kind of looking at the bottom of the greeting and kind of lining it up along that bottom edge. It's kind of like how I do it. Now, one of the things I did announce last Friday when I did my live, if you hadn't heard, Stampin' Up! Is making some changes. So the red rubber stamps, they're gonna discontinue making those, and that's gonna happen. Let's see, our new holiday mini catalog, that's gonna be the last catalog in which they will have them in there. I don't know why I'm cleaning my stamps when they're already clean. And then our current annual catalog is going to be the last annual catalog with the red rubber stamps in them. The online exclusives for September is going to be the last online exclusive with red rubber. Starting when the new stuff comes out in November, all the stamp sets are going to then be photopolymer. I did mention as to why, and it's just a kind of like a supply type of issue. And also the packaging too of stamp sets are going to change too. So if you want to know more about that, just refer to my Friday night live from last Friday. That was the one that I did the Turtley Cute Suite, and I talked about that, all the changes and everything at the very, very beginning. All right, so what I want to start out with is my Granny Apple Green. And I want to ink up my, what is this? This is, no, I don't want basil. I want mint. But see, when I go to stamp this, I don't want the name of the herb on it. So I have, sitting over here, I have some wipes. And I'm going to use this to kind of clean off. So I'm going to ink up my whole stamp, but then I want to wipe off that herb name. So let me bring in, place my thing over here, and that way I can clean this off. So the mint, I'm going to ink that up in Granny Apple Green. And then I'm going to just wipe off that mint. I don't want... Okay, and then I'm going to stamp this like in the middle right here. And then I'm going to ink up kind of like the top portion of this. And I'm going to stamp some in this corner. And then in this corner over here. Okay. Then I want to bring in, what do I want? I want Garden Green. And I'm going to stamp my basil. wipe off the wording on here. And then I'm going to stamp this right here. And then I'm going to stamp kind of like the top portion over here. Okay, get that out of the way. And then I'm going to take my shaded spruce, and this is the rosemary. So this is a little bit easier to ink up there. I don't have to clean that bottom part off. So ink that up. Let's stamp that over here. Okay, and then while I got that out, I'm going to take my little banner piece here, ink that up in shaded spruce, and stamp that down. Okay, put that aside. And then bring in Lost Lagoon. And the time is the same way, where the greeting's on the very bottom. Bring in my basic beige piece and stamp one over there. I'll stamp one here, and then I want to bring back in my Granny Apple Green and that mint that we stamped first, and then we're going to do some Stampin' Off, and we're going to kind of fill in this bottom part down here. So I'm going to stamp off just to kind of fill that in a little bit. Okay, one more time. There we go. So we kind of filled it in so you don't see a lot of that beige. We hit it one more time right there. Okay. So there's our stamping. Now, what I'm going to do with my dark Blackberry Bliss blend, so on my basil, I'm going to add a couple of dots here. Where those leaves are kind of like bundled together. Like so. Okay, so we have that. And then let me take my seal, and then we're going to adhere this onto our garden green piece. So there's a little border on the top and bottom. Okay. Let me see, is it? Nope, it all matches up. Okay. So there's that. And then I'll add some more seal. We're going to adhere this now onto our card base. So this will go right. Try and get this centered. Okay. So you can see that it looks like it's a full piece of designer series paper behind it, but we conserved some of our paper since the middle part's covered up. Okay, then I'm going to take, this is the Natural Tones linen thread. So this has retired, so this isn't available anymore. I'm going to create a bow. And this we're going to lay down, and this will be behind that that tag or label, whatever you want to call it. Okay. And then I'm going to take a little bit of seal. Let me see where I'm going to put this. Put that right there. So I'll add a little bit. And I'll lay this down like so. And then I'll make these loops a little bit smaller. Okay, let's see what that looks like. Pull this down a little bit more. Okay, and then for my greeting, I'm going to take dimensionals, put them on either side. And then this will go right over the top like so. All right, and then we'll trim these ends. All right, and then for another embellishment on this, I'm going to bring in, these are the tiny bee trinkets. These are still available. Now they're really cute little tiny gold bees. Now there's no adhesive on them, so I'm going to bring in my glue dots. And I'm going to use 3 of these, so I'm going to add. Now these are smaller than the glue dots, so I'm going to have to kind of tuck some of this adhesive behind. Okay, okay, let's close this up so we don't have a mess. All right, take your pick tool and we're going to kind of wrap that glue dot back behind. Just trying to get this to go where I want it. Put one right there. And we'll add one. Let's see, like up here. And let's see, we'll add one more right in here like so. Okay, there is our first card. Let me kind of get this all kind of put away here. Kind of running out of room. And there's the first card. Really love the greens and the Lost Lagoon. And of course our little bee, our tiny bee trinkets. Okay, so now let me clean these stamps off. because you know what happens when you have inked up stamps laying around. I think I have to add more of my Stampin' Mist in that bottle. Yeah, usually if you leave your stamps inked up laying around on your desk, you stand a chance of having your cardstock touching it, and then your project has ink smudges all over it. And plus one of these we're using again in a totally different color. Okay, so now let me set this aside, and then let me get the stuff for our next project. So we are using that die that creates the little envelope pocket, and we're also making a little card to go inside of it. So with this little envelope, you can also fit a gift card in it. So it's a perfect little envelope type packaging that you can use for little gift card gifts. All right, so pieces that I have here. So this is basic beige. This measures 4.5 by 3.5, and I've scored it at 2.25. Ahead of time, there is a stamp in the set that stamps this border right here, and then in the dies you got a die that cuts that out. So ahead of time I did stamp and I did die cut it. I stamped this using Pebbled Path ink, and did I mention that's on that's on a scrap piece of Very Vanilla. Then with Pebbled Path, I have a little scrap that I die cut the 2 circles that will create our little tie. Yeah, for our tie for our little envelope. I can't talk. I'm losing words, and I think the reason why I'm like this is because I'm behind and I need to get things done. And one of the things I don't like is having to rush to get things done, you know, and go through that stress. And so I think that's probably why I'm just a little bit flustered here. So I ahead of time, I had die cut that this envelope pocket, excuse me, out of that Timeless Plaid Designer Series paper. So I'm going, basically my color scheme is I'm following what's really in the paper. So the inside has this Calypso Coral and Cajun Craze checkered background on the inside. And the die puts in like these little score lines as well. And so I'm just folding up on those. Okay, and then I'm going to take, let's see, my liquid glue. I'm going to add a little bit on this side here. Okay, and then we're going to tuck that over. Press that down. It feels a little sticky, so I got a little bit of glue that came out, so I'm using my adhesive eraser. Kind of pick that up. Okay, and then I'm going to add some down here. And then we'll fold that up like so. Cute, it's a cute little, I think they describe it as a seed, like a seed packet, which you can certainly put little seeds in there. Years ago, a friend of mine, her daughter was getting married, and like a whole, they had a whole like sunflower type theme for it. And she had asked me like what I could probably come up with. So I made like little seed packets, but I think the dye that I used, it wasn't a Stampin' Up dye. That I think this is the first time, I think, I could be wrong, that we've had a dye that kind of die cuts something like this. And yeah, so I ended up making a whole bunch of little seed packets, because one of the things that they were going to have for the guests at their wedding, they were going to put sunflower seeds in it. And I think when I did it with craft paper, I think. So yeah, they came out really, really cute. This was so much better if I had this back at that time, but okay. So then now that we got that, we're gonna take our little clasps, if that's what I want to call them. I'm also gonna bring in, oh, I thought I had them sitting right here. What did I do with them? They disappeared. I did have, oh, I guess I put it back in the package. So for this part, depending on the color of the cardstock that you're using, you can either use the black mini dimensionals or the white. So on these, on the backs of them, I'm going to take one of these small dimensionals and I'm going to put it right there in the middle. Now for these two, the other thing that you could do, if you have like some kind of foam or whatever that'll fit in here, or you can probably do this before gluing it together, you can pierce a little hole, and then you can use like, say, a mini brad to hold these things onto your little packet here. All right, so I'm going to take this, I'm going to place this down right there. And then my other one here, close this up and kind of line it up. Like, oh shoot, I forgot to do something. Okay, let me kind of take this top one off. What I want to do is I want to add my linen thread on here first before I wanted to put this down. So I'm carefully removing that. For some reason, it seems like the black dimensionals are much stickier than the white ones. I want to carefully pull this off without tearing cardstock. Okay, let's try this again. I'm going to add a dimensional on there. But what I want to do first is I want to get my linen thread. And I want to cut a piece. And then we'll start like about there. We can always trim this down. Okay. Now, what I want to do first, glue dot. Stick my linen thread right into that glue dot. Lift it up. And then what I want to do is I want to take this, kind of like stick it down right there. Okay, and then put this on right on top of that. Like so. That's the thing I needed to do. I needed to glue dot down my, so now you can take this, and you can kind of wrap it around. You know, you want to be careful because it is paper, but it will hold closed. And then I'm just going to trim this a little bit. Okay, so there's our little pocket. Now let's do our card. So the little card base of my basic beige, I will fold and burnish that. Okay, and then on this piece here that I stamped ahead of time, again, the border of this was stamped in Pebbled Path ink. And then I'm going to bring in my Calypso coral, and I want the mint. I'm going to ink this up, and make sure that that's kind of straight. Hold on. Take two. Let me kind of clean this. I want to make sure that this stamp is on this block straight, since now I got the wording on here that's going to be included. Okay. So now we'll re-ink this. And then stamp this right here. There we go. And we'll put that aside, and then let me get a seal. Now, because the pocket is, there's not a whole lot of room on a card, doing a little card inside, you can, less bulk, you can use designer series paper rather than cardstock. This will slide in and out very easily, but you just want to be mindful if you're going to start adding, you know, like some embellishments to it. And there's one more thing I have to do to this as well. So now your little card will fit in there nicely. Now we're seeing that dimensional poking right there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring in these 2025 to 2027 in color pearls. Now again, this color isn't in here, but it goes well. This is Timid Tiger, and I'm going to use the smaller pearls. You got three different sizes in here, and I'm just going to cover up those dimensionals so you don't see it. So there is our cute little card. You can put a little gift card in there and write a little something and tuck it in there, and then just twist or wind actually your linen thread. And again, you want to be a little careful because it is paper. And there you go, your little gift packet. Really super cute. Okay, so let me bring in the first card. So we did the stamping using all those stamps with all the different herbs on it. We just eliminated putting the names of them when we stamped. So the Lost Lagoon and the greens along with the basic beige. Really pretty card. And then we have our little seed packet here that we created. I keep calling it different things because I don't know, my brain's not functioning very well. Maybe because I didn't have coffee yet. That's probably why. So we have our little packet, and then we have our little card in there as well. This would be great if, you know, like if you're out and about and you want to, you know, do like say a little thank you, you know, if you go into a restaurant, you know, with the with your waiter or waitress, or even in a store, you know, just a little something to let somebody know that you appreciate the stuff that they're doing. So that's all I have for this Throwback Thursday. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch. Again, in the online on the in the online store, under the last chance, like I mentioned at the very beginning, the Grow with Love bundle, this is on the last chance list. And right now, the stamp set is on low inventory. The dies are not saying they're on low, but each one of these items are actually marked down. In the description, I did, under the supplies, I did list these individually, just so then that way, if this is something that you would be interested in getting, that way you can get a bigger discount, because if you bought it as a bundle, it's the discount's only going to be 10%, and it's still going to be more than what you can get it if you buy them individually. So that's why I have it linked below, individually rather than together. So again, like I said, the stamp set's on low inventory, and I don't know how long it's going to still be available, but if you're watching this, and like I said, this is the morning of the 29th on Friday of August. So if you're watching this right away, and again, if that's something that you were interested in, yeah, I grab it before it's gone. So, again, thank you for joining me. If you like the projects, please give the video a thumbs up. If you haven't already done so, please subscribe to the channel and hit that little notification bell. That'll let you know when I am posting another video or when I am going live. And speaking of going live, I will be going live tonight, the 29th of August at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. I will be using the Boho Vibes suite that's currently in our annual catalog. And when I do my Friday night lives, for those that are still with me at the very end of the live, what I do is a drawing, for where you could win one of the cards that I make tonight. And it doesn't matter if you're outside of the US. Cards I can mail anywhere. It's just actual Stampin' Up! Product that I cannot send, you know, outside of the country. So, so again, thank you so much. You know, liking, sharing, commenting, all of that really, really does help in not only growing this channel, but it also helps me in building my Stampin' Up! Business. And every little bit of help, I truly appreciate it. So thank you so much, everyone, and have a blessed day. Bye bye.